When I was 25 years old, I went to Europe and I was traveling around Eurail, had a lot of time waiting, and I started sketching then. And then when I came back home, I started doing it more and soon started working with colors, oil pastels, and then I started dabbling in painting and haven't stopped. Did a lot of studying in libraries and looking at art books for references, but I never took an art or painting class. So it is the beauty of having this space is that I could just literally walk here after dinner and paint. I don't have to get in the car. I don't have to drive anywhere. I don't have to set up. It's already set up. And then when I'm done, take off the gloves, walk back into the house. So the convenience is great. And it's definitely allowed for productivity. Early on, I did a lot more figurative, a lot of cityscapes that I've kind of stopped doing. And I've kind of turned my attention to landscapes, abstract landscapes. Recently, one of my biggest influences is Richard Diebenkorn. Just his color, his movement on the canvas, his spontaneity, and his investigation of the landscape. When people ask me about my art, I usually say very colorful, vibrant colors, abstract landscapes, and pure abstraction. But it's changed. It's morphed so much over 25 plus years of doing it. That's usually the biggest feedback I get is I love the colors. Well, the working of shapes, I've reduced it to colors working with each other. So you have a geometric shape of one color against another one and their relationship and how they work on the canvas. It's something I discovered by accident, but something I've been exploring a lot lately. Painting a square and painting it against another square has been done 100 years ago. But this is myself painting the squares. And it's my exploration of it. California, so I'm originally from Chicago. Illinois is a very flat state, a lot of cornfields, soy fields. California has everything as far as topography, climates. I've been out here for close to 40 years, and I still love it. I still love the landscape. I still love driving in the country here, and it changes so much. And I was driving down to Cal Poly to visit my daughter who goes to school there, and I just saw the landscape is just beautiful from like Salinas all the way down to San Luis Obispo, and I was just inspired by it. And I was like, I didn't need to look internally for inspiration. I could just look out the window. And they're not direct, realistic paintings of the landscape. I would classify them more as poetic. There's one I did called Santa Barbara, which shows the spontaneity that I've been working towards for years. It also touches on the colors, shapes touching each other, working with each other in a more abstract and poetic way. That was a turning point. So I just opened my eyes and just saw the California landscape. And it's like, wow, this is infinite possibilities. Where internally, if I was doing a figure or figurative paintings, there had to be some relationship between the figures. What was I trying to express? But I didn't need to do that anymore. So yeah, there's a lot of times where I've had painter's block, and I'm sure most painters go through that. And a lot of times I just find myself just working it out beating up a canvas until I get through it. You fail all the time. All the time. You have to. Early on, when I first started painting, my paintings were more narrative, storytelling. There was figures in them. There was symbolism in some of them. That's kind of gone away. And now they're basically haikus, just 5 or 6 lines of poetry. But early on, there was more depth to a more narrative storytelling. And so in that relationship, yeah, there's a connection. And that I also write songs. So there's some similarities there too, simplifying things into concise couple lines. I'll be sitting in front of the canvas, and if I've started a painting and it's working, then I'm in the flow. And there's this spontaneity, it's almost, I'll be listening to music usually, and I would describe it as like jazz. And there's a flow, and you're just choosing colors, and you're putting colors next to each other, and it's working. And it could be messy, it could be very detailed, but you're there and you're not there at the same time. And that's, to me, the joy of it. You're making hundreds of decisions on every single canvas. And then I'll let them sit and come back and paint. And the hardest part about any art form is stopping. When do you stop? When do you say, okay, this is enough? And that's hard. A lot of times I'll paint and then put it on the wall and realize it's still not there. And sometimes you can get it, and sometimes you can't. And that's hard to accept. Yeah. You don't want to be fiddling with a painting that you did 5 years ago, because it's just going to stop you from moving on. Yeah. I mean, that said, there's paintings that I've done 20 plus years ago that I'm still really pleased with and surprised that I did them. Especially figurative paintings that I have just don't have a strong desire to do anymore. And I couldn't believe that I actually did those at one point. I'm inspired by a lot of places I travel to. If I went to Spain recently, I was definitely inspired by the Spanish landscape, or just, going other places in the United States, going to the desert, going to the mountains, driving along the ocean, inspired by all of it. A lot of times you'll be driving down a landscape and you'll try to take a photo of it, and a photo doesn't even capture it. And I know I can't do that with a painting, but I can maybe capture the essence that I'm feeling from viewing that landscape. Being inspired by other artists, go back to Van Gogh, Gauguin, very colorful. I mean, Pablo Picasso is probably the best artist that ever walked the earth. It's just crazy. And lately I realize how brilliant his colors were. Matisse, same thing, colors, shapes, positioning on the canvas, negative space on the canvas. Early on, I was really inspired by the German Expressionist. I like the bold black outlines. I like the sharpness, the angles that they use, the vibrant colors that they used. So I was really drawn to that. And that's still, I think, in my work, the colors. Orange isn't something I've noticed, and it's subconscious. It's not my favorite color, but it's in almost every one of my paintings. And I'm not sure why. Maybe it helps with the color balance on the canvas, but it's all subconscious. I'm not going out and buying huge tubes of orange. But almost every single one of my paintings has some orange tint to it. And that's a big part of every canvas. To me, it's all about balancing the color. Yeah, every single one of them. From here, I mean, that's something that I never think about. It's just more in the moment. I never think, oh, I want to paint this kind of painting. There's certain directions or a certain series of paintings that I want to continue. Sometimes I don't want to continue painting certain paintings. Sometimes I want to go back and explore stuff that I did maybe 2 or 3 years ago. But there's certain roads that you go down, and you can only go down one at a time. So that's hard. Like if I would have done another painting in a certain series, that may have led to something else. But you can't think that way. You got to keep just what's the next painting. Yeah.